Rock stars, Eric Andres, YourGuitarSage here with a really cool video today where I'm going to be looking at the Les Paul Standard, and I'm going to be looking at the Les Paul Special, okay? And so we're going to be comparing the two. My buddy just brought me this Les Paul Special, and I did a review video on it. And basically what I'm going to show you here is the difference between the two. So you've heard a little bit of difference, and we're just be talking about some specifics. Now, it's hard to compare two guitars when each guitar by name can have a myriad of different bits and pieces about it. So a Les Paul Standard is not necessarily a Les Paul Standard across the board. You know what I mean? There's so many differences. The years, the woods, the shape of the neck, I mean, just a myriad of different things. So we really have to talk generally when we're comparing guitars, because if not, you're going to get lost in the rabbit hole. Okay, so let's talk about the real basic differences between the Les Paul, just your basic Les Paul, and a Les Paul Special. So the basics, if we're just looking at aesthetically here, right? We're just looking at how the guitars look. Obviously, the Les Paul Special is a little bit more scaled down. It's a little bit more of a workman's guitar, and this instrument here is going to be, it's going to have more detail. There's binding, you know. Well, this one has binding on the neck, but not binding on the body right here, as you can see. If you're looking at the guitars from the side here, and you may not be able to see this from here, but there's a definite distinction. The backs are the same, right? But essentially, if you took the Special and you took off the maple cap. So on a regular Les Paul, you have a maple cap, and then they're able to carve that and make it raised. Okay, so it's not just completely flat like, say, an SG or a Special. It's actually like an arch top almost. Okay, and so that is going to change the playing a little bit, just the feel of it, but it's a looks thing as well. Now the basic difference, the main difference, other than the style of the body, because the length, the scale length is going to be the same, 24.7 on Les Pauls. The basic difference is you're going to have P90s in the Special, and you're going to have PAFs in the Les Paul. So patent applied for humbuckers, single coil P90s. Now, don't be frightened off by the word single coil, because single coil in this case, when we're talking about Gibsons, they sound totally different than Strats or Fenders. Okay, I love Fender. I've got lots of Fenders and I've got lots of Gibsons, so I love them both for different applications. But if you're looking, if you're like, okay, well that's got single coils, I know how single coils sound because I have a Strat or I've heard a Strat. It's not the same. Single coil, the P90s are wound hotter, and they almost sound like a noisy humbucker to me. And speaking of noise, let's talk about that for a minute. So, for those that don't know the theory behind a humbucking pickup, they call it a humbucker pickup because it bucks the hum. It gets the hum out that we typically hear in single coil pickups. So you'll hear that when this one's plugged in, you won't hear the pickup noise, typically a 60 cycle hum, what we call 60 cycle hum, coming from the P90s, but not from the humbucker. So that's another one. This guitar is a little bit noisier on stage, especially with louder volumes. You're typically going to get more feedback. That can be a good thing, right? Ask Hendrix. What other differences here? So, like if you look at the tuners, you're not going to see much of a difference, but my guess would be, and again, this is a guess because you really have to drill down and talk about specific years and what parts they had in the warehouse and the whole 9 yards. I mean, this is a lot of times how guitar manufacturers work. What do they have laying around? What are we putting on that guitar that year? Very true for Gibson too. That's why sometimes you'll get a guitar that might have Brazilian rosewood, or it might not, since it's illegal to transport. But I'm not putting this guitar anywhere, and I'm not saying this has Brazilian rosewood, because it surely wasn't advertised, but it sure looks and feels like it. So you run into that sort of thing with Gibson. Now, what else? Obviously, because this is a more expensive instrument, you're going to have things like inlays, the pearl inlays, which you have them here, but they're dots, right? You've got the dots instead of the trapezoids here. The pick guard is raised on the Les Paul, and on the Special, it's just screwed straight to the body. Pickup configuration is the same in that, on both of these, you're going to have 2 volumes, right? Or 2 volumes, 2 tone controls, and you're going to have your 3-way switch, rhythm, treble, and middle, or the treble oftentimes called the lead. I play in that position like 99% of the time. Unless I'm going for kind of a Brian May type of nasally type sound, then I'll flip it up to the neck pickup. But other than that, scale length's the same, and as you heard in the examples there, the Special really rocks out. Okay, I mean it's really a great guitar. I've used it in band situations a lot, and I always love them. They just have this gritty, dirty sound that it's that sound that you're going for, okay? And in fact, if you A-B those at the beginning of the video there, you'll hear that it almost sounds like the P90 has more gain or more crunch to it. The great thing that I've always found about single coil pickups is they seem to be more dynamic, have more of a volume response, as opposed to humbuckers. Past a certain point, it squashes the sound down. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's what I'm hearing. And I find that with the P90s, they're more responsive. When you pick very lightly or very hard, there's going to be more of a, that's what we mean by dynamic range. It's going to be a bigger difference between the low and the high, as opposed to humbucker pickups at the top. It seems to squash it automatically, a built-in compression into the components. Okay, so other than that, you're talking about basic workmanship. Adding the binding, adding the trapezoids, adding, buffing down the maple top, carving it out, all that stuff. That's where you're spending your money. That's the difference between, expensive guitars and more affordable guitars. But all that being said, when it comes to making a record, when it comes to recording, when it comes to playing with a band and what have you, this guitar may suit you better. It may be the best guitar for you, or this one may be. It's really hard to say. It depends on your budget. Just like I talk about in my first 30 videos that I teach all my students in Nashville. The link for that's below, YourGuitarSage.com/30. That's what I talk about. You don't have to know guitars and woods and all these components to purchase a great guitar, okay? The only thing you need to know, I cover in those videos, in those first few videos of that free course. That link is below. Bottom line, it comes to what is best for you, the sound, how does it feel, what's your budget? Those sorts of things makes a huge difference in picking a guitar. Don't go on, hey, Joe plays this guitar and he says it's the best. Don't go on that. Go what's best for you, because there's not a best guitar out there. There's just not. Or you'd see all the best guitar players using them, okay? There's what's best for you. So just remember that. Try not to chase that endless tail of looking for the best anything, okay? There's best for you. I've seen guys in town, great studio musicians playing really cheap equipment, but they know how to use it, right? So what's the best one for you? It's hard to say. I'm really falling in love with this one. I love the looks of this one. This is my baby. It's been with me for a while now, but that's special. I'm going to be playing it some more, and you might see it in some more videos here. So my friends, I'm on Twitter and Facebook and all those places. I would love to help you out with anything that I can. This is my passion. I freaking love guitar, and I want you to love guitar, and I want to help you out with guitar. There's zero things that you cannot do on this instrument if you have the right instruction and you practice, okay? So take advantage of my free 30 lessons course below. It's the first 30 lessons I teach all my students here in Nashville. YourGuitarSage.com/30. Take advantage of that. Please let me know how I can help. Leave your comments below. If you like this video, share it, please, and subscribe. All right, my friends, I'm out of here. As always, you hear me always say this, I mean it. Be kind to all beings. Every being wants to be loved. Every being wants to be treated with kindness. We need more kindness in this world. Be kind. Don't trust the man, and practice your guitar. I'll see you.